Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first semi-finals of the very first FSL Season 1 playoffs. We're on Frost, spawning to the top left-hand side in purple. Our Protoss player playing for Rival Gaming and the United States. It's Koshkii. And to the bottom right-hand corner in orange, playing Terran, Fortlan LDLC, our French player Miyako. So let's see what these two players have in store for each other. Koshkii already trying to find her opponent, sending out her first probe after building a gateway and then an assimilator, probably going to expand shortly afterwards, while Miyako has started her game with a barracks and obviously an early command center down here. No, also just sending a worker out in order to get some scouting done, but the second worker should then already be sent down here in order to get the command center done. So refinery shortly afterwards. We have the Nexus already incoming for Koshkii. They are the two workers just past each other, so Miyako should actually kind of know where her opponent might be. Of course, she doesn't really know whether Koshkii just sent out a late probe, so she still has to scout this position in order to be really sure that her opponent is not here yet. But afterwards, she should know that Koshkii has indeed spawned cross position. So in the meantime, we have the command center out. SCV is just trying to construct it the best way it can. Koshkii just walks inside the main base, sees that there's only one gas, just moves out once more. Could just try to tickle a little bit away at these SCVs, but it wouldn't really work out since the Reaper is already out as well. Now going to chase the probe and eventually going to kill it, while in the meantime Miyako just sends her worker over to Koshkii's base. The worker then will just see that she's already placed down a Nexus, which is not all too uncommon, so nothing really new to Miyako, nothing unexpected for her to see here. So robotics facility going down, mothership core is already out, so this SCV is going to die usually, well, especially with the Adept out, of course, while the Reaper is just still trying to move in, probably using that Reaper stare over here. But Miyako is careful, knows that the Adept is already out, and just removes. After seeing already everything, no need to really send the Reaper in and maybe get it killed. She can still use it for later on. For now, she's just put it at the watchtower, so she will see whether Koshkii is going to move out or not. Koshkii, in the meantime, just waiting for her robotics facility to finish. In the meantime, has also planted down a Twilight Council back here, so it's either going to be some sort of DT harassment maybe, or just the Glaives upgrade for the Adepts. Maybe even speed for Zealots, but I don't really think so. Especially not with a Warp Prism incoming, so we're definitely going to see some sort of Warp Prism shenanigans, some sort of Warp Prism drop. Might be DT harassment only, we will see that once the Twilight Council finishes. Or it could just be a lot of Adepts, but therefore we just need a few more gateways that Koshkii would actually have to throw down. So Miyako now sends in her Reaper for the first time, actually. Ooh! Koshkii even trying to kill it off with the Photon Overcharge here, not quite getting it. It's probably going to be killed afterwards, since the Adept is also in place. Maybe Miyako will be able to get it out or just at least get one probe. No, there it gets killed. But she got all the information so far. Might have even seen the Twilight Council researching. So since it's the Resonating Glaives upgrades, we're probably going to see some sort of Adept, maybe all-in Warp Prism harassment. So yeah, sometimes it's really problematic to say whether it's only harassment or also all-in, or just the winning method of Protoss. Sometimes not that easy to say. But yeah, we have a shit ton of gateways going down as well. Warp Prism already in position, and actually that's a quite nice positioning over here. If we just have a look at the natural base, it's totally undefended, so Koshkii could just warp in a few units out here, just load them in and then unload them down here, while just do another warp in over here, because usually that that's the big problem, to just get through this supply depot, especially if there's counter repairing ongoing, and we also have a few Marines and maybe even Marauders behind it, plus a tank on the high ground that will always be able to just shoot away at these units here. But what can these units do once they just land inside that natural base and just kill everything from here? It's going to be really problematic to just keep Koshkii from doing it. I mean, you can just pull away all the workers, and then in that case she will not just deal as much damage, but it's still denied mining time like crazy. And there are the 4 adepts already. She can just send them in and then just walk, and then just send the Warp Prism across and put it all in. Miyako, in the meantime, is obviously thinking that Koshkii is preparing something like that, but she thinks that her opponent just would come in from that angle, so that's why she has most of her forces and the Cyclone in place down here. But the Warp Prism was there, but funny enough, what is Koshkii doing? Koshkii is not really flying in. Oh no, she's really trying to get inside the main base through the barrier here, which is a little bit unfortunate for her there, because that's just the worst place to attack at that moment. Now just trying to fly in, but the Cyclone is in place. Locks on, might even be able to get the Warp Prism here, but it just gets out of range barely, with half health still left. I mean, the shields are going to regenerate, but not that quickly, so Koshkii either has to wait for a little more, and I can't really see anything important happening here. I mean, there's a second tank out right now, the Cyclone is in position, we have a lot of units up and down, like everywhere. Okay, DT tries to walk in, but Miyako just sees it immediately, throws down a scan, and just drives all of that away. I mean, I think it's probably the best that Koshkii can do right now, just trying to retreat, maybe contain her opponent for a little more while taking her own third base, but she just hasn't done any damage at all, which is actually catastrophic for her. I mean, she sacrificed so many resources into that push, delayed her own expansion by quite some time, but even more important, she still has no AoE area of effect damage available, and it's not even in the making. She now even goes into a Stargate. So, I mean, she could either throw down a robotic support bay in order to get out Colossi or maybe even Disruptors, or she could just throw down a Templar's Archive in order to get some AoE out. But without AoE, I really think that the only thing that Miyako needs to do now is just assemble a few more units. And once she just has enough of a Bioforce with the help of the tank, she could just walk across the map and kill Koshkii off. That shouldn't really be a problem, and it seems as if this is what Miyako really wants to do right now. She also has a Raven in position, so even Dark Templars won't really be able to help Koshkii, and the only thing that Koshkii has now are Adepts and 1 Immortal, a few Zealots over here. So, yeah, mostly Adepts, a few Dark Templars, but these Dark Templars are just in position in order to control whether Miyako is taking a third base or not. There's the scan, so Koshkii now knows where Miyako is probably trying to attack right now. But this force, I don't think this force can actually stand that kind of bio. I mean, Miyako already has the combat shield, has Stimpack, also has +1 done. And there the first engagement is, so the units are just moving in. We have a lot of Bioforce just blowing away at all of these Protoss units, killing off everything. There's just not enough AoE damage. Koshkii just trying to desperately taking away at these Medivacs and these Tankovacs with the help of some Immortals. Only a few Zealots and Dark Templars left. Koshkii has to totally retreat for now. The best thing she can do right now is just trying to gather her forces at her own natural base. This base is lost. No way for her to get back into the game. I mean, Miyako has at 120 supply to 74. There's also some Liberators arriving as well. So once these Liberators set up their Liberation Zones together with 3 tanks, there's just no way of engaging this Terran force at all. I mean, Koshkii just runs across the map, tries to get outside of the Liberation Zones as soon as possible, just gets shredded by all this bio over here. No way to win it. GG, and Miyako takes the first game. Welcome to the second map of this Best of 5 series. We're in Galactic Process. Spawning to the bottom left hand side in purple is our Protoss Koshkii. And to the top right hand side in orange, playing as Terran for LDLC, leading 1-0, it's Miyako. who just happened to surprise her opponent with a big timing push on 2 bases after having defended a possible warp prism all-in with adepts quite nicely. Although I really think that Koshkii should take a good look at the replay and see what kind of opportunities she would have had if she had just flown in from the right angle. So let's see what's going to happen this time. No cheese once more. I really wonder if Koshkii wants to throw out at least 1 cheese on one of the maps. I actually would have guessed that she... I actually would have guessed that she'd do it right now, because it's the second map. She's behind 1-0, playing... she could potentially just fall back even more. Now trying to just whittle away at that little SCV over here, just trying to be annoying as hell and just keeping the SCV from finishing the command center, just delaying it for a little, but it's always a nuisance. And of course it's just one of those little advantages that can add up in the meantime. So yeah, but what I was talking about was the playing a cheese maybe right now, since I think this could actually be the best point, could have been the best point in time. Like, of course, if it just failed, you then would have had to deal with being behind 2-0, of course, but I mean, that's always the risk of cheese. But if you really plan to cheese, you normally just throw it out in the first game. That's usually the standard time when people play cheese, because it's all brand new. It's 0-0, and you have all the possibilities still left even after failing a cheese. But of course, if you win, you will just be ahead by 1 game, and you might have even demoralized your opponent by a little bit. So whatever. Let's see what's going to happen. We have the usual standard setup by Koshkii here, just the typical gateway expand into Robo, and probably a Twilight Council later on. So there it is. And Miyako just scans it immediately, just sees what Koshkii is trying to do here, just sees the standard setup, so she doesn't really need to worry about anything. Can just play through with her usual game plan. Nothing all too special she has to take care about. We have the bunker in place already. She's also ready to get an engineering bay, just in case she's going to need a few turrets for Dark Templar harassment. So she will have some static defense with the detection available. But also, of course, for the first upgrades. And it seems as if, again, Miyako just wants to go for an early stim push timing here, already setting up stim to be finished in about 2 minutes. Well, in the meantime, we get the Templar Archives for Koshkii. Quite interesting here. I think there's actually quite some nice mind gaming going on here, since Miyako really knows that Koshkii usually likes to go for DTs and for Dark Templars. So seeing the Twilight Council with the scan might just have triggered Miyako to guess that her opponent would go into DTs, or maybe Adepts, or maybe both. Maybe just trying to do the same build order once more. But Koshkii is not doing that. Koshkii actually just trying to get out AoE damage as fast as possible with the help of High Templars. And speed, so it's actually, it's Wings of Liberty all over again, ladies and gentlemen. We actually have Speedlot, maybe Archon, or maybe even Speedlot Templar, which I would actually like even better. So let's see how this is actually going to work out. I mean, we have the first Templars being morphed in, no Storm in the research yet. So it seems as if Koshkii really wants to rely on another timing push, just hoping that the Archons together with the Speedlots will be her saving grace early enough before Miyako can actually get together enough units to overwhelm her, before she is going to need some sort of area of effect damage. So let's see if this is going to work out. I mean, we have another full wall at the natural ramp, so getting through this could be problematic. Of course, we have 2 Immortals, or she will have 2 Immortals by the time she arrives at her opponent's base. Immortals can just chew through structures without any problems. So first push already incoming. We have Miyako just moving out with only Marines and 1 Marauder, while she just tries to secure a third base back here, as also a supply depot in position, so she will see if units try to get through these destructible rocks. So it seems as if she just wants to go through these destructible rocks herself. Unfortunately for Koshkii, she doesn't have a pylon in position, so she might actually get surprised by that push coming from the right-hand side, maybe even losing the mothership core in the meantime, or maybe just hitting the bad anti-timing, moving out while her opponent is just walking through. Miyako just scans the front, sees immediately what's going on. Oh, Koshkii actually should guess that her opponent wants to push any minute, but she's probably expecting the units coming from that angle, but now the units are already behind her, stimming in, killing the first pylon, killing the second one, probably even killing the third one, just empowering 3 of these gateways. And now she can just stutter step retreat into Koshkii's main base, even having the superior army positioning, just focus firing down one immortal, maybe even the second one, stutter stepping back. This army is very down in the yellow and red. It's autumn in Terran land already, but the rest of the army will get cleaned up by Koshkii. Not that much damage actually happened to her. Of course, losing the production of 3 gateways is a bit problematic, but actually Miyako got what she wanted. She easily got her third base up, dealing some damage to Koshkii's army, even unpowering a few of her production buildings. So I think Miyako is kind of fine. She's already gathering a lot of forces back at her natural ramp, and she knows if Koshkii should try to get through these destructible rocks herself. So I think she should be fine and easily and should be able to hold this. But of course, Koshkii just has so much income and so many resources banked up due to that little push. She even produces a few more gateways, but is totally all in now. I mean, she could have really used the amount of money in order to throw down a third nexus here. She had the overmints and still has it, but she really wants to get all in. I mean, okay, just going up the ramp, sees there's no possibility to get through this wall easily or cost effectively. So now she will try to get through these destructible rocks, but yeah, Miyako just has the depot in position, knows what's going to happen. Wow, look at that Protoss army just taking down these destructible rocks in a matter of seconds. Now finally the army units move up, but unfortunately we don't have the AoE necessary. The only AoE provided is by these Archons, but Miyako just stutter steps back, takes out these Archons with focus fire one after another. Okay, finally Miyako just has to pull the SCVs as well because of the Immortals. We also have the possibility with the help of the Warp Prism to move some more in. 8 workers have already died. We also have some of the Adepts. No, actually, where did these Zealots actually come from? Obviously just following most of these units up towards the main base. Miyako finally even has to lift up, but now there's the Widow Mine. The Widow Mines are out. Okay, we have an observer in place, so actually Koshkii, sorry for that. Koshkii would have been able to just clear this up. Finally, Miyako just manages to kill that push, but she's down to 57 supply. The bunker is burning, it's probably going to burn down, but I don't really think that actually matters, because the biggest advantage that Miyako actually has, even after losing 14 workers, is her third base. But unfortunately, it's a planetary fortress. It's not a command center and not an orbital command, so she won't have that many mules in order to compensate. But she doesn't really need to. If we have a look, she's still looking fine. Okay, 4 mules just got called down by the 2 orbitals that Miyako had in position. So yeah, losing these 14 SCVs, not really that big of a deal when you have 4 mules ready and you now have the production out of 3 main bases. Okay, the only goal for Miyako now must be to maybe take out that third base of her own, but Koshkii just keeps her from doing that. Okay, Widow Mine got burrowed, but okay, it's still there, but it's going to get shot down with the help of that observer. So Miyako has to retreat for now, just loads in, tries to get something more done with the help of that medevac drop over here at the natural base. Koshkii's army is kind of out of position. It's going to take some time to get to that left part. Maybe Miyako will be able to just take down an assimilator, maybe another one, maybe in a few workers, but she shouldn't really deal that much damage. Waiting for the 2 liberators to arrive. So it seems as if she just wants to go for a multi-pronged attack here. Maybe just taking out a few more drones or workers, actually, I'm sorry for that, as long as Koshkii isn't really watching. Koshkii just reacting immediately, pulling away all of the workers. Unfortunately, just running right into the trap that Miyako set up over here. So Koshkii just thinking, just thinking she would be clever by evacuating her probes over to that location when the Liberators were already in position, and they have retreated for now, while the push at the left-hand side can already just get in once more. So if we just have a look at the production tab, we see only more units incoming from Miyako, Blink incoming for Koshkii. She really wants to be able to just hunt down these pesky medivacs. The army is in position, so Miyako shouldn't be able to do anything over here. Again, we have a Liberator in position as well, so I think once Koshkii finally has some time to spare, she will just get her Stalkers in position, take down one of the Liberators, but the other one is in the main base as well at the same time. So mining just got shot down hard for Koshkii here. Unfortunately for her, the harvester count is not too low for Koshkii here. Finally, Miyako just manages to pull back ahead. Okay, even getting the fusion core done, so it seems as if Miyako definitely wants to get the range upgrade for the Liberators, making them an even more deadly weapon against Protoss than they already are. So High Templars in position. This time around we have Storm as well, so there is some AoE damage there. We don't have any ghosts yet. There's the upgrade for the Liberators. Liberators now in position, and I don't really think that Koshkii can engage here, but she has to. There's unfortunately no way she can just sit by and let her third base die. That third base is so important, but she just doesn't have enough in order to take down Miyako's forces. GG, and Miyako takes the second game as well. Frozen Temple is the chosen third map in this best of 5 series. Spawning to the bottom right hand side in purple, it's our Protoss player Koshkii. And she's down 0-2, has to make something happen, has to claw her way back into the game, but it's going to be very difficult against that opponent. Over here, spawning to the top left-hand corner in red this time, playing for LDLC, it's Miyako. And she just tears through opponent after opponent after opponent. Doesn't matter if it's the season mode she's playing in, doesn't matter if it's the real StarCraft Master Tournament, doesn't matter if it's the playoffs of the FSL. Miyako just ruthlessly tearing apart every opponent that stands in her way on the path to victory. So Koshkii just getting a good idea of what Miyako is trying to do with a refinery early on build. So it seems, I mean, this is the very short rush distance map over here. Frozen Temple has the second shortest rush distance after Darsan Station. So I've guessed that, actually wants to try to, nicely reacted here by Koshkii, right in the nick of time when the SCV just tried to block that gas over here. I think that might even actually give Koshkii another big tip-off what Miyako is actually trying to do here. So we have one Reaper on the way. I think we might actually see another sort of timing push headed her way. Or headed Koshkii's way. I mean, keeping the opponent from taking gas usually tells you that your opponent is trying to do something very aggressive early on, and they want to keep you from getting these higher tech units up, like Adepts, like Stalkers, something like that. Maybe even having enough gas in order to get detection. So we might actually see some sort of mine push, or maybe even a Banshee follow-up. So, which would be pretty uncommon, but I mean, with Miyako, that's the good thing. You actually never know before it's going to happen. But this time around, I think Miyako will probably go for some sort of mine push, just producing a few Marines in the meantime, then maybe sending out another Widow Mine, and while producing the Medevac in the starport. That's actually not here, so never mind. Okay. So we're not seeing a Stargate build, a starport build anytime soon. So it's not like the earliest possible dropship we're going to see. Okay, Reaper just in the base gets 1 kill before the Mothership Core finally drives it away. Still, Miyako just got one important bit of the information, the Twilight Council, but as we've seen before, Twilight Council could just mean anything. Miyako, on the other hand, just suspects that her opponent might just get back to her old tactics, having produced a Cyclone over here in order to deal with any sort of Warp Prism harassment. So she will be ready for that. Goes into early stim, so I think we're actually going to see an similar push like the one in the first game, where Miyako just produces a lot of Marines and tanks, and maybe even a Raven if she sees that her opponent definitely goes for a Dark Shrine, which he does. So yeah, it's actually just the first map replayed, ladies and gentlemen. If everything happens like in the first game, Miyako should just defend like she did before, and then while Koshkii will try to take a third base, will then just gather enough forces in order to kill her, because Koshkii just won't have sufficient AoE damage in her army in order to deal with it. Warp Prism already in place, but Miyako's expecting that, or also even putting down a supply depot that is going to help her seeing that pesky Warp Prism a little bit earlier. The Cyclone is somewhere around, where is it? Okay, right in the mineral line. So whenever the... Actually, that's really a smart idea, I like it. I mean, once the Warp Prism really tries to fly in, the Cyclone will just have more possibility to chase it down. Okay, DT's finally in the base. So Miyako just loads in all of her Marines, tries to get them in place as soon as possible. Okay, Warp Prism just picks the first Dark Templar up, second one doesn't really need to pick up. Oh, unfortunately for Koshkii, and not really paying attention, this one Dark Templar could have just killed that supply depot off. Will Miyako just get it? No, just barely cannot save it. So at least one little thing killed inside Miyako's base, also losing a few workers here and there, but not really that amount of damage that Koshkii wanted to deal. She still has to fly in and maybe deal some more. Okay, first few turrets now in position. Miyako has some static defense around that's going to give her detection, and now just moves out, since she just knows if her opponent invested so many resources into an early Dark Templar push, she won't really have that many forces back at home. Koshkii just desperately trying to get up some pylons that are going to help her defending her main, her natural entrance with the help of the Mothership Core. She has 200 energy left. This pylon might not be able to get through. Okay, first Photon Overcharge goes down, mine gets taken out immediately, but Mia can of course always just load in and avoid the entrance at the natural base. So far, Koshkii actually doesn't know. She should know now, and is now walking up the ramp. Probably, yeah, unfortunately, this pylon gets taken out before Koshkii can actually use it, but it's still a lot of forces over here. Don't really know what this Immortal is doing out here. Okay, she just wants to save it from focus firing, so try to take it out as good as possible. Miyako just unloads outside the base. Nice, unfortunately losing the Mothership Core over here, but nice little time warp over there, trying to just catch these units so that they can't really retreat. Miyako still trying to be annoying as hell over here, with the rest of the Marines just loads in, unloads out of the base, inside the base, wherever she wants to. Okay, forces another scan over here. Other DT just has to move out for the meantime until the... unfortunately just... Okay, moves it in once more, but Miyako just takes it out again. Has to spend another one over here. But this pylon just going down, Artosis pylon, what the hell, Tasteless? I mean, all of the production just has evaporated right now for Koshkii, and I can't really see her winning that game anymore. In the meantime, Koshkii just has realized that if her opponent is at her base with a lot of forces, she might be able to just get through, but the Liberators are already in place, together with a little Marine and Mine Force, but it just doesn't matter. I mean, actually at the moment everything is dying right inside her main base. She won't even be able to get up her pylons in order to get some production here. DT will finally clean up these Marines. Okay, she can just scan, of course, but one Marine alone is not enough in order to take down a Dark Templar here. But I mean, the production time that Koshkii just missed, along with the mining time lost over here, plus 11 workers as well. This is such a desperate position she's in right now. Miyako just retreats with one surviving unit and the medevacs to tell the tale. In the meantime, Koshkii's army is just dying at the front of Miyako's base. Everything is getting torn down. Miyako will, after clearing up this immortal, just immediately grab her forces, walk across the map and kill off everything. Is Koshkii really trying to get another base? This is suicide, ladies and gentlemen. She can't really hope to take it. I mean, she has to do something. She knows that she's behind in so many ways. So she probably just tries to take it down, hoping that Miyako might not attack her for the next 2 minutes maybe. But yeah, Miyako is not that sort of player. She just walks across the map with a hell of a lot of mines. Do we even have detection available? I think we don't. So actually, even if Koshkii cannot just cannot engage this army, especially not with a zone of liberation, with liberators and widow mines in position. Yeah, she just has to fight on the liberation zones once more. Miyako just got her in a position where she wanted to have her right from the get-go. Pylons are dying, more probes are dying, and then probably the Nexus is falling as well, even securing the ramp down here. Koshkii tries to do as much damage as she can with the help of Dark Templars, but Miyako just has enough scans available. GG well played, and Miyako advances to the finals with a convincing 3-0.